Graduates, walk on, walk on. Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? Hey, Don, what's up? Big up yourself. Let me just pin your comments straight away. Let me pin your comments straight away. Big up yourself, Nadine, girl, so nice. Kiki Ram, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. We're going to talk about a few different things tonight, not just P-Diddy, because first of all, I can't stand it. All the internet have me distracted. Too much things are going on. Too much things are going on in the place. First of all, let me share the live and let the graduates know that I am on. Hold on 1 second. Let me just do this. No, sir. Mister, me have to hold my fingers, them, people. I had to hold my fingers in a planka shop tonight. I never want to. I never want to give myself no trouble. I wanted to be very good in class, right? While I was over on DFG platform. But I was tempted. I was very, very tempted indeed. Come and say, something. Okay? Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Keep by your fingers and behave yourself. I know say people are going full up a headache. Mali gripe and fluxy complaints. All kind of pains and agony is going to be rippling through the internet. You understand? Because people head are gonna hurt. Yes, people are gonna feel like them get body come down. Uh-huh. And them something they gonna go on. Happy birthday. Oh my God. Yes. Happy birthday. Everybody on a big up gas and nice with Renshaw. Tell her happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, sweethearts. Yes. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Big up yourself, Vanessa, my member. Big up yourself, Arlene. Big up yourself, Linda G. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Yvette Sharp. Big up yourself. So I'm sure by now you've heard what's going on with P. Diddy. And I don't know if you have heard the recent press conference that was held. But really and truly tonight, I want to focus on one particular thing. Is Puff Daddy the one who is to be blamed for everything that's taking place? Is he the only face to the case? Are there people whose names who are not yet mentioned who deserve to be equally persecuted by the court of public opinion and by the legal court system, like Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, originally known as Sean Combs? Now, one thing I notice how popular spaces love to find opportunities to tear down Black men in particular. It's happened historically. And I mean, I could go way back. But if I was to really look at a fairly recent case of something along the lines of what's happening with Puff Daddy, I could look at, the household favorite, and that's Bill Cosby. Everybody remembers what happened in 2018 with Bill Cosby. It shook the world. It was so disturbing. People could not believe that Bill Cosby could be found guilty on 3 counts of felony for assault, SA, right? Coming on, I said the word them on YouTube. 3 counts of felony SA. And he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, right? And of course, we know that he came out early, right? Now, this was about the fact that his allegations were linked to Harvey Weinstein. Yes. And anybody who knows that story knows there's a whole thing of corruption around famous wealthy men who basically exploit young females, right? So it seems to me like there is a history of when these men become too popular, too light. I don't know if they start to make certain money moves that go against the who's who. It almost feels like everything comes down on them. Now, everybody's talking about the fact that, well, hang on a minute. Jaguar with Puff Daddy, how comes other names not calling? And I think it's important that you listen to what this press release had to say. Yeah, I think it's important that we listen to it. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna listen to this video, which is about all the complaints that are now being faced by P-Diddy, the didster, the one who did it, right? And I want you guys to just listen to it. We're going to talk about it for a little bit before I go into other things that I really want to share with you, particularly around Jaguar Wright. Now, Jaguar Wright is the whistleblower who originally spoke out about Puff Daddy. And this Black woman was completely discredited by the public about what she knows. You understand? She was completely discredited. She was considered to be a madam, and she's a bit eccentric. And we're going to listen to a bit of what she has to say as well. But let's first listen to this. All right? Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we should all be seeing my screen now. All right, hold on. Let me unmute.
That he could spend the rest of his life in jail, and that will give people the courage to speak up.
Absolutely. Now, the Daily Mail is reporting that the UK government's outgoing Cabinet Secretary, Simon Case, could potentially pen an explosive tell-all on the breakdown of Harry and Meghan's relationship with the royal family. Kinsey, this is...
Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. Let's jump. We want to hear about the allegations.
Was being assaulted and abused, or
all right, let me play up a bit. I want to get right to the beginning of this.
5 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities.
Yep.
They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics.
True.
I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo.
Yes, Don, very
Victims who
true.
step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos,
Jesus.
texts.
No, sir.
We check venues. We check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense.
And remember, people, they have 120 cases that they're going to pursue against this man. And they have followed through with all of these due. No, say, them 120 cases what them have, them already checked and corroborated in terms of making sure that whatever it is that they're claiming actually pans out as fact. They're making sure that if them said there was at a club at X date, there is evidence of that. There's communication around that. If them said that them travel to here and them take a Uber, them a check all of that. So it's not just off the bat claims. They're saying that they're dismissing people where there's no evidence.
We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. Process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females.
Yes.
There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs.
Big up yourself,
In this
easy
group,
chair.
62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian.
That's right, Karen.
Victims are from more than 25 states. Majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims.
Listen to this part.
When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was—
Now you tell me now, what the hell is a 9-year-old? What the hell is a 9-year-old doing at a Diddy party? What the hell is a 9-year-old freak off? You tell me how the hell that happened.
15 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spanned from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024.
Backside.
If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time.
Yes.
Now, you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward. I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even
Jesus,
25
Nadia,
to 30 years later.
seriously.
Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward.
Yes.
And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. And there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed,
Yep.
but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, all white.
What the hell is a puppy party? Puppy party? Why would you call a party a puppy party? Puppy to me suggests, the young. Puppy to me suggests that there is some debauchery happening with underaged. Why the hell would you call it a puppy party? No, sir.
Although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct. The promise of being made a star, and the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know
residences of people that we all know, hotels that we are all familiar with. So that means that even hotel staff turning their eye away from underage participants at these events might come under problems and under fire. And obviously it is clear that there are other significant people involved in this situation. Keep listening.
65% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistance, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals.
So that means that the investigation has been going on for a significant period of time. The fact that he said that there were reports already made to the patients being had, that people had put forward reports through the police, means that there have been significant things pulled together from the past in order to get to where we're at today. You see how these people operate? Them lay low. Them do them checks and them investigation and then them strike.
I say several, I mean many who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Jesus, Father, what? Horse tranquilizer? Then graduates, if a human being takes a horse tranquilizer, the straight unconscious or knock out that. How does the human body react when taking something like that that's meant for a big old horse? Look how big or heavy a horse is. Me backside.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people.
Wow.
A range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come. We will name names other than Sean Combs. And there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. But
And this is really and truly what the public has been waiting for. Because as much as we know that Puffy is a dirty soul beast and he deserves every bit of punishment that comes his way, we all know that a black man in Hollywood, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the wealthier, 1%, will never be allowed to live the life that he's living and do the things that he's doing if he has not received the endorsement of the true voices of power. There are many people who have given Puff Daddy a pass and said it's okay for him to do what the hell he's doing. So while I'm here waiting and saying to myself, no man, one black man can think so something big and bad can take on the whole of Hollywood and do them kind of nastiness and get away with it. There has to be something else. The whole music industry, as much as black people are powerful in the music industry in America, we all know that behind that, there is another power, usually a Caucasian, handling the money, the real money.
The nature of this case, we're going to be damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
That is it.
I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on.
Yes.
They know who they are. Call them the facilitators of foul play.
The enablers.
Willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities.
Yes, sir.
Who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies,
yes,
hotels.
Yes.
We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused, and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave.
The pundits.
And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way.
Yes.
Anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it.
Back
any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on. But
any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on and did nothing about it. Anybody who was in the room What debauchery and did nothing about it. Anybody who kept quiet when they were aware, anybody who was paid off to be silent and did not raise the alarm. People, I don't know if you realize the magnanimity of what is about to go down in history, you know. But it's a big flipping deal. Remember me tell you this. A lot of us are not paying attention. But until you start to hear a Jamaican artist name call, you're not going to be sitting pretty like this. Not nothing to do with we. You're going to be surprised whose names get called in this mess. That may I tell you no.
Stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous.
Yes, Linda.
You can't hide skeletons in a closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Yes.
Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something.
Yep.
Once that drink takes effect, perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around. As other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused.
Have mercy, God. No, people. I wonder if you realize the degree of ability associated with trying to get into the industry, which is a very competitive space, and thinking that you have made contact with one of the moguls of the industry. You've gotten in touch with Puff Daddy. You can get to a Diddy party. You can get yourself heard so that you can make a bus. As so far as them I do this to, you know, is so far as them I do this to, you know, are people who want to get in. They make them come to the parties. They lace their drinks and they're in such a state afterwards. Any number can play, any card can draw. And they have them like pass the ball and the ball gone round. And do whatever they want to do with them. All these rich and powerful men. That is what they were busy doing. With the money that they have, with the positions of influence and power that they have over vulnerable people.
Injured and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats, physical violence, or financial repercussions, bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape.
Okay, all right. We're going to stop now because I'm going to start the word. We're going to flag everything. I'm in a able feet.
Prostitution.
The whole of that. And including trafficking. Several charges, right? Several charges against this man, right? A little bit. No, because it's going to go on to somebody else. So we're going to stop it there, okay? This guy facilitated parties and participated in them. I don't want you guys to think for a second that I'm saying that Puff Daddy should not be held accountable. I'm saying there's so much more to this. So many more people who need to be held accountable alongside Puff Daddy. Right now, Puff Daddy is the face of what's taking place. Puff Daddy is the face of it. Because it was known as a Diddy party. He was the one who hosted it. So, of course, he's going to take the lead on the fall. But I want you to listen to Jaguar Wright, who recently did an interview with Pierce Brosnan. I don't know if you know who that is. but he is an English media personality who often indulges in controversial interviews. He's kind of not liked and kind of liked. He's the kind of personality. So I've done my best to kind of chop out his voice. But I want you to listen to the interview that took place with this lady Jaguar. Jaguar writes, several years ago, had first come forward and said that P-Diddy was a trafficker. Okay? She was dismissed. She's also an artist. She's a singer, right? And she has a background in the sex industry. She does. Okay? And she's going to admit this on her interview. But Jaguar was dismissed and considered to be crazy, jealous, and so on and so forth, because her personality is really out there. She is extremely eccentric. That is just the kind of person that she is. Okay. But I want you to listen. Hang on a minute. Do this interview with her. Hold on. I'm gonna just pull this up.
So,
All right, let me share my screen.
so him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally. The victims, they're not safe. I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Hort. I come to find out 25 years later, the scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To
Very, very true, PLJ.
here, your elders in the business, people like Patty LaBelle say, it's to avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the same thing to you. Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters.
You hear that?
And the victim making machine kept going.
All this time, we've all been saying, how is it that Jay-Z is so quiet? Remember, Jay-Z was the voice or one of the people who was backing the Me Too movement so much. And that Me Too movement took down R. Kelly. Do not forget this. And I was saying to myself, how is it that Jay-Z is so quiet? How is it that Jay-Z and Beyonce are not making noise about this? That tells you something. She's now said very clearly that these two are the people who we should be looking at.
That's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without the response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist
AKA
of tyranny that is
Jay-Z.
punching through culture and our society for decades. It must stop. I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
Jesus.
He's been covered and protected. And not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange.
Jeez.
He was selected to be the demon that he is and keep the culture in.
And that is the part. He was selected to play the part that he is playing, to do the things that he is doing. He's been given a pass by people even more powerful than he is.
The industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas. He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. Only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a enemy to the Black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it. See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes.
Jaguar have her own tapes. So she's been working alongside these ladies of the night, yeah, and collating evidence because they have got body cams on. So they are recording for their own safety, but they're also capturing evidence, some of which features Diddy and his friends. This is going to be very serious.
What they do, the ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases.
What? Putting girls in suitcases?
It's satisfying. And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible. Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real.
Yeah.
Public's perception.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy.
I want you to understand that this is very much a thing in our community as Black people. We keep quiet about a lot of taboo subjects. It's not just because of money. It's not just because of power. It's not just because of fame. It's also very much deeply embedded in us culturally and socially not to snitch. You hear? And that same mentality is in the Caribbean. It's in the diaspora. We will see wrongs and we'll be afraid to talk out about it, or we'll consider it none of our business. As long as it's not happening to you, say nothing. And likewise when it comes to particular subjects, such as SA, we tend to victim blame. So before we look at the circumstances and the fact that nobody has a right to do this to you, no matter what, no matter if you're dressed in a birthday suit, the first thing people like to ask is, what were you wearing when you go to a party and something bad happens? What were you wearing? How were you dancing? What did you do for somebody to want to do that to you? That kind of mindset. And because of the kind of mindset our people have, it's not just our people, because there are people even outside of our culture and race and social background who have this mindset as well. That's why a lot of victims don't go forward to the system, because the system doesn't handle them well either. But while you're more likely to find an advocate there, you are less likely to find it amongst our own people. We'll tell you to shut up about it. Just like how we turn a blind eye to minors getting SA by family members because we don't want shame come down by our name. We don't want the embarrassment. And so these things become a perpetual cycle, and people end up becoming victims for a lifetime.
People keep looking at him like he's a Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. He got to stop making ditties. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically. And Clyde Davis has been his greatest teacher. Because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. It is linked. Why is nobody understanding?
She's letting us know that the reason why the Me Too movement was financed by Jay-Z was so he could take down R. Kelly and get him imprisoned. It was about revenge and not necessarily about finding justice for victims of SA. He wanted to get rid of R. Kelly. R. Kelly was a rival. He wanted him gone. And so he used the opportunity to do that. This according to Jaguar rights. Now think about it. If she's saying that, and she's also saying the common factor between all of those other men whose names have been mentioned around SA activities and pedophilia, the one person they have in common is Mr. Carter. Who really is behind all of this?
Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter. They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. Why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall. So absolutely. Just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many?
It's between me and Judy Garland, social media. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
hide. What? Beyonce. Beyonce. What is she saying? Is she saying that Beyonce and Jay-Z have participated in these illicit acts against these victims? Is that what she's saying? Beyonce, backside. Listen, guys, this is not from my mouth. This is from Jaguar Rights. Jaguar is the one who's saying this. She is saying that Mr. and Mrs. Carter have been physically participating in the exploitation of these victims. And look here, my girl nah hide. She's being interviewed left, right, and center. And you don't know, say, if it was a case of this one is not to be listened to because she's lying, them would have certainly slap her with what you call it, cease and desist. Them would have certainly start go after her for defamation already. How is it that she's not being given a gag order if she's lying and if she's making stuff up?
They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things
What do you think happened with
against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
Jesus.
I think people should really look into that more. I am
Jesus.
friends. Be sure.
So this is about the past wife of P-Diddy and the fact that there is a suspicion that he had something to do with her death. Okay. Now she also implied that where Aaliyah was concerned, she's saying that Aaliyah, when she was put on that plane, she was under the influence of narcotics, and that she was not in her right mind. She was either unconscious or whatever. But is she implying that Aaliyah's death was a deliberate thing? That it was pre-planned, that something was going to go wrong, that they wanted to eliminate her as a witness? I don't know what she's implying here, but something doesn't sound right. Yeah. And now she's going on to the past.
I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at
Kim
the
Porter.
club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign. Watch that whole thing. And everything that Albert has been through, every attempt on his life that has been ignored by the authorities. Everyone knows it. The wiretapping of the phones, putting air tag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do. You're not seeing the victim. You're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart.
So now this is another interview that took place. This is not the one with Pierce. This is a different interview that took place where Jaguar is speaking about Usher. They're speaking about Usher and she's speaking about Justin Bieber. She's basically saying, because I don't know if you know the history of Justin Bieber, but you know, he was a really vulnerable teenage boy struggling in life, trying to make it, singing out in the streets for money and so on, had a YouTube channel. That's how he got discovered. And, you know, Diddy and Usher, they basically decided to adopt this young man and take him under their wings. But listen to this, all right? Listen to this. Let me pull it up a little bit.
Practices that these people do. And the victim. You're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart. And he took Justin Bieber there. Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. He didn't even finally get to be with for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the tenant for 48.
Don't worry about the sound effects in the background. That was deliberate because I don't want to strike this because somebody channel me take this off. But listen, did you hear that? He had custody of Bieber and handed Bieber over to P-Diddy for 48 hours. 48 hours.
He had already been to the hospital. The situation that Gene was talking about. He was still Bieber there. He showed out custody of him first. He had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in, governed and managed him, got custody of him, and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Sound like a good guy? Sure. Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like.
It doesn't sound like a good guy, but you know what I think? Because remember that Usher was being, he was with Puff Daddy from he was a little boy. To the point where we know that there's this whole interview where Puff Daddy's talking about the fact that they used to share bed together. Share bed together. Right? Now we can only imagine what Usher himself may have gone through. But what he has become is a handler on behalf of P-Diddy. So he has to go and find somebody. Can remember say Usher get all. And P-Diddy look like him like them young. So till them all of the puppy party. So him have to go get somebody young to satisfy the man. You understand? So he becomes a handler on behalf of P-Diddy. So of course he's evil. But he has also fallen to victimhood because of how he was raised under Puff Daddy. So whatever monster he is, the bigger monster is Puff Daddy, either way you take it. Because Puff Daddy made Usher into that kind of person. He wanted to get away from it. And so what did he do? He handed over Justin Bieber as a replacement. So Puff Daddy can do whatever the hell he want to do with him. That is seriously sick when you really think about it. But it's for his own escape. That's all he cared about. It was a selfish move.
An asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, a talented boy, put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more. So that's what pedophiles do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids.
Yes.
Now, the cure is a cure. If Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak office, he had their guy. Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat with fucking Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, "Would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp?" And his immediate response was, "No." So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like.
But he lost a child. He lost a child, didn't he? And she's implying that there was some sacrifice thing going on there. So, but we're going to end that one right there. I hope you hear the things that Jaguar is saying. And she does go on to speak about other names in the industry. She calls names that really and truly, if anything do go so, the whole of, I would say, Black celebrities will be in upheaval. All of the Black celebrities will be in upheaval. We don't even know who's going to be left by the time this woman who's going to be left at all, because she's calling so many names. I'm wondering what's going to happen to all the, it's like say we're gonna end up with just mediocre stars by the time them finish. Wipe them out of the industry, be it music industry, politics, movie industry. So anyway,
Tell you who I believe
listen, this is what she listed.
on the tape. I believe Barack Obama got a tape. Yeah, you playing like the hot dog. I know Jennifer Lopez has multiple tapes. Oh, yeah. I know Beyonce got a tape. I definitely know they probably recycled some old Stevie J and Eve stuff. I know Drake got a tape. I know Rihanna got a tape. I know Chris Brown's on one of them tapes.
Riri got a tape. So Rihanna got to do some dark and freaky things at videos. Eh? No, sir.
I know Trey Songz has been like a supporting actor in many freak off films. Definitely Usher. I think what was shocked people were the politicians and the royals.
You hear that? The royals. The royals. She is talking about the royals. Yeah? Queen will be turning in their grave.
I'm still trying to figure out when Harry and Meghan are going to be honest about their freak off tape.
Backside. Harry and Meghan too far. Harry and Meghan are freak off tape. No, sir.
I don't think anybody really wants to talk about the fact that the royal family had many times at Diddy Party, especially that weirdo uncle. I'm gonna tell you who
I'm not surprised about the uncle because he was known for being involved with that Weinstein person.
I know
Barack Obama. I play Heidi Hot Dog. Yeah. Barack Obama. Really? Lopez.
multiple things. I know Beyonce got a tape.
We'll have to.
I definitely know they probably recycled some old Stevie J and Eve stuff. I know Drake got a tape.
Drake.
I know Rihanna got a tape. I know
Riri, Chris Brown.
I know Trey Songz has been like a supporting actor in many freak off films. Definitely Usher. I think what was shocked people are the politicians. And the royals. That one.
Harry
I'm
and
still
Meghan.
trying to figure out when Harry and Meghan are going to be honest about their freak off tape.
I had to pull that up. I'm thinking that he's untouched. Oh my God. No wonder they wanted to go to America to live and to renounce all of their royalty because they know they've been getting freaky with the Diddy. They've been getting freaky with the Diddy. No. Oh my God. That is so disappointing. Oh, my boring life. And I just said, I love my boring life. Fun and joke aside, though, guys. P-Diddy's face, which is being used for the case, is only going to be a temporary thing. You heard the lawyer say at the very beginning of this, there's going to be so many more names being called, so many more top people in the industry who are going to go down for this. It sounds to me like there's definitely going to be some investigation behind Beyonce and Jay-Z. So all you Bay Queens and, all you Beehive people, Yeah, uno queen might a get knocked. Uno queen bee might a get knocked. I mean, I like say the name they know. But anyway, please be prepared for there to be a historical moment where we're going to see a lot of our famous people crumbling. And it's not just going to be amongst our community. It's going to be across institutions of power, top organizations. You understand me? And brace yourself because you never know. You might hear some Jamaican artist name called. You might just hear some Jamaican artist name called. And it's only a matter of time when that is going to take place. Why is it that when we get to positions of power, we always get so self-inflated that we think we're untouchable by the law? This is one of the biggest problems with us as a people. Do you know why? You know, they always say that because we were disempowered throughout history, spent so many centuries in lesser roles across Western worlds. I'm not talking about original African people, you know, because we had original African people that were never ever slaves and that were descendants of kings and queens. I am talking about those of us who were forced out of our original homes and taken to live through migratory paths in different worlds. Disempowered, family structure broken through enslavement, not recognizing the power and the importance of unity between mother, father, child. So that fragmentation of the family unit has led to men thinking they can live wild with their dick in their hands. Can't say it any other way. Women who think it's okay to have several baby fathers over a short space of time. No regrets. Because a whole heap of us end up with multiple through circumstances and wish we could have done it with just one, but because the man them ain't no good. But often the man them ain't no good because they already grew up in a broken home. And I really want to know why it is that as we rise, we can't recognize the bigger agenda is to keep us fragmented. Don't you realize how the media likes to portray Black men as being studs? How the media likes to paint us as being extra fertile? How it is that they like to push the agenda of misogyny through our music? What do you think? White men smile whenever you come out with a gangster tune. Why do you think they smile when you got Black queens twerking on the screen? Because that's what they expect of you, and that's what we buy out every time. And they exploit us and make money off of us, and they feed our minds this kind of filth every single day through popular culture. Dancehall is not far off from this. It is more or less the same. When you look at some of the videos that are coming out now, I want you for spitting at me throat, you dirty whore, them kind of something there. Hmm? All them kind of things is what we are celebrating as tunes. Half naked women all over the screen. Treated like objects. And Black men are meant to be hyped up when they have multiple women. When they treat women like objects, they're meant to be hyped up. They're considered to be, yeah, the top man. Top chopper. And then they turn around and they make a lot of money from this. Because that suits the agenda of a fragmented race that they can control and dominate. So now you rise through your money, doing the things that the exploiters enjoy you doing. You get comfortable up there. Because remember, I'm going to put it on my Facebook page and I say, watch how they get comfortable in a white man land. And things so you can do the things them what them do, but them not do so blatant and get away with it. Because you're rubbing shoulders with them and you think you're accepted. 9 times out of 10, they're going to lynch you and use you for the fall. 9 times out of 10. They will pin everything on you. You will become useful, not just for actually being a conduit of this kind of nasty behavior, but being a sacrifice for them. Every time without fail, we bite the bait. Our men bite the bait. And then they fail. They fail because they're always going to be the ones that they push out there as the face of the case. When they're the ones who are the puppeteers, they're the ones who are controlling. The likes of Diddy and Jay-Z, there are others even more powerful than them. Look at Playboy Mansion, Hugh Hefner. Did you know that one of Diddy's properties had an underground tunnel that led to the Playboy Mansion? Yes. That kind of dirtiness. So they could easily have their little menage a trois and all those other orgies and freaky things. Yeah, easy access. But have you ever heard Hugh Hefner dragged through the press? Have you ever heard Hugh Hefner tarnished and destroyed? How was Hugh Hefner portrayed by the media? He was portrayed as a pimp to be celebrated because it's a white man pimp, and a white man pimp does it best. All the girls were proudly on television, happy to be portrayed on the arms of this old mashmouth man. What do you think they were doing when the cameras were off? What do you think was taking place? A peer throat goat in the place for other people to come enjoy. But you notice that he never faced this scandal. Why is that? But here comes Diddy, a black man, thinking that he can get away with the things that Hugh Hefner has done openly. P-Diddy is not the real face for the case. He's the scapegoat. And it's only a matter of time before the real people have to come forward. And even so, they've got the power to stop it. You don't hear how much people get payoff, how much people get money in them pockets for be quiet. And then threats on top of it, because them have to bring the street into it, you see. Tell you something, not every money is good money. Not every money is good money. And you cannot take corrupt money and it becomes uncorrupted because you might be a good person. You hear what I'm saying to you? There are people out there that will sweeten your pockets, lace your pockets, because they want to control you and they want to keep you quiet. There are people out there who will feed your materialistic desires so that they can then turn around and ask for a bigger price, that when you have to pay it, your whole soul dies. And because you're in a position of want or vulnerability, you fall prey to it. You understand? You have to protect your children and let them know that they should never sell their soul for $1. Never be so desperate that you can't recognize the red flags. Because listen to all the things set, you know. The people go to after party at Diddy house. Turn up at Diddy house, right? And when them reach now, them get greeted with a drink. And when them actually say, yo, I don't want that drink, you know. The people them say, oh, you have to drink this, you know, or you have to leave, or you cannot get any kind of entrance at all into the music industry. So if you don't drink this, you can just go and you can F off and we not have to see you again. But let me tell you this, at that point, they had a choice to leave. But all they're seeing is all their dreams, their hopes crashed. Because they're thinking, oh my God, he's gonna block me from the industry because it just take one word from Diddy where say, oh, that the fasty day will turn down my party, he can't come through the gates. So then I think, shit, I gotta do this. I gotta drink this drink. I gotta do what I have to do. By the time them drink them drinks, people, they start feel giddy. By the time they look, they knock out or them woozy in and out of consciousness. Things are going on mouth, ears, nose, back, front. From all crevice and corner, them I get passed round. Camera on. At the end of that, a lot of the actual victims say that them feel peer pain. Them wake up somewhere, them don't know what go on. They half dress or some of them not have no clothes. By the time they look, it's like backside. Why my bottom hurt me so? Why my front hurt me so? Oh, my throat back feel like it gone and all of the tonsils them knock out. Like that do the people them. And they're so embarrassed, so ashamed. Them just take with themselves, carry themselves, go to clinic, take 1 and 2 little tablet. It's a funny picture. Take 1, 2 little tablet, right? To clean up themselves. Yes, some of them may have reported, but them scared to say it's who. Just so them can get the little treatment and it not have to go up on their insurance or whatever. It's scary to imagine that this is what these people were doing, these people who were in positions of power, how they took advantage of the poor or they took advantage of the desperate and the needy. No human being is worth putting on a pedestal. None at all is worth putting on a pedestal. Speaking of which, I don't know if you have seen this story. I'm going to share with you. Because when I said this, I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe, this is what was going on with this pastor. Oh, you see me? There's something. It's hard for you to catch HDK going in an old church. You see them pastor your outer road nowadays? Me don't really know what I rarely see anyone can lead me. I rarely see anyone can lead me to the Lord like that. Because them so full of corruption. Them so full of bangarang and pasa. Them so easy for stray. Them so yielding to temptation, these so-called pastors, that me really and truly have to just look and cut my eye and shake my head. Yes, because they're more worldly than you and I. So have you heard this story that I'm about to share with you now? About a pastor who was caught on the back seat with a 16-year-old in his car. Take a look at this video. Righto, can you see this? Make sure you can see my screen. All right, let's go.
You know, sir, here's the car, bro. You have an eye here for me? Shut the door for me? Yeah, no, yeah, we wipe it down or anything like that? No. Just what you guys doing out here? Just chilling. That's all. Just chilling. It was getting hot in the car, so I took my shirt off. Well, when I walked up, you were putting your shorts on. Well, my shorts, a lot of time in my store, we kind of stuff. So I was like, trying to fix it. Okay. When you see the car, you get wet, how you get wet. Okay. So when you see how it looks, I come up, you two are in the back seat. Right. Because the front seat, the front seat is like far away from me. So I was like, talking. How old are you? I'll be 48. Well, you just have your pants down. Right. You have to lie. I figure what's going on. I didn't have my pants down though. Oh, you had pants down? Oh, wow. So I can tell you what's going on. No, that will, if that's what you guys are doing, that's what you guys are going to do. Right. At some point, it is what it is. You know, people do it all the time, but you don't need to lie. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and turn around. Yeah, turn back.
Jaja. 16-year-old, you know. This pastor in the car with this little boy. I do the things them with the youth in the car. And this is supposed to be a leader of a church. You hear me? This was supposed to be the leader of a church. Okay? Ex-Bunnell church leader and pastor Alfonso Joseph. He has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for S with a minor. He's a 50-year-old Palm Coast resident and former pastor at several Bunnell churches. And he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, followed by 10 years on the S offender probation after pleading guilty to having S with an underage boy. He will be registered as an S offender for the rest of his life and will have to follow rigorous S offender conditions once released from prison, where he will not be eligible for early release. His conditions include a prohibition on working or volunteering as a pastor or church leader in any capacity. Joseph has been a pastor at Vision Cathedral and Destined for Greatness Ministries in Bunnell. This a wicked man here. This a wicked man here. People in positions of power taking advantage of the vulnerable, taking advantage because they're in a position of influence. Be careful who you take from and be careful who you associate with. Not because they come with all of the trinkets and the gold and the silver mean that their intentions are necessarily good. You hear what me say to you? Not because they come with all the gold and all the trinkets means that their intentions are necessarily good. And on that, I'm going to simply say, we're going to keep an eye on what's happening with P-Diddy. We're going to see which other names are going to get called because there are going to be named, people. It's only a matter of time. They are going to be named. It's not that it's going to be kept secret forever. We just have to brace ourselves because it's only a matter of time before they come out one after the other. We're going to see something revolutionary happen in the entertainment industry around our Black people. But let me tell you this. Don't you ever get comfortable in Western civilizations and think you can get away with things that they have gotten away with for centuries. Because either way you take it, institutional racism will not allow it. While they will create an opportunity for others to do exactly the same, white men who have been walking the corridors of power for centuries have been doing this, exploiting us in the most derogatory, vile ways. You hear what I say to you? And they've gotten away with it. They won't allow you to. No, they won't. You ever heard people say that because I am Black, I have to try 10 times harder? You ever hear people say because I am Black, I have to be perfect at my job? The moment you slip up and you allow your baser instincts to overtake you, they've already got you by the balls. And it's only a matter of time before they pull the rug from under your feet. P-Diddy thought he was untouchable. A lot of people think they're untouchable. But I'm here to tell you that time longer than rope. And when you think you're not being watched, when you think you can relax, that is when the system clamps down on you like a thief in the night. Live your life right. Make righteous choices. You understand? And don't let money give you a false sense of comfort. Don't let money give you a false sense of comfort. That you think that you're above the law and you can do certain things and get away with it. Thank you so much, The Easy. I have been really caught up with the topic. I'm not really reading your comments. So before I sign off for the night, let me take a look at some of the things that was being said. Lady V, big up yourself in the house. I just realize this. So let me keep going backwards. I don't want to miss anybody. Producer Wayne, Global TV, walk one. I see you, my brother. I see you. All right, so let me see what I go on here. It's sickness and warped control. I know one of the Jamaican artists, Backside Karen. Can you just imagine when it's time for the information if it come out? We done see Seriri name a call up. You understand? Like Seriri was one of the freaky deaky them. You remember how Riri did come into the industry nice and innocent, and then all of a sudden Riri just get dark. You understand? We don't know what kind of indoctrination Riri got through enough to turn out like that. And now she's a billionaire. Oh yes. I would hate to imagine that she have tape, but it look like a tape, baby, right? HTK, yes, it's because of BP disobedience to God. Many have been spiritually corrupt for centuries. Let me not tell you, but we love them stereotype though. That's the easy. We love the stereotypes of the man with the whole heap of money, the whole heap of big chain around the neck, the grill on the teeth, the girl them with the perfect dolly body, where twerk and do the things them. Yes, but there's a sinister side to that lifestyle. There's a whole sinister side to it. You understand? And it really isn't worth it in the end. So let me see. Look at the bees. All they do is provide for the environment for honey. All right. And they reap honey enough to have a factory to sell honey. Hey, you're there. I hear what you are saying. We are the problem. Enablers without valuing ourselves. Absolutely correct. That is definitely true. Diddy is just the scapegoat. Rich Venice, you are damn straight. He is just a scapegoat. And they will use him as an example and they will make a horrible example out of him, you know. Trust and believe him, I go punish him for this, you know. Him already locked up in our cell and getting none of the privileges of normal criminals in jail. They've denied him and been very strict with his access. And he's not eating, right? The minute you cannot be controlled, you're going down. Talk about it. This is all about politics. Just saying it could very well be about politics, right? He could very well have crossed somebody in a powerful position. They record them and hold it over them. And apparently, some of the victims have been approached and offered tapes to purchase before they leak. So it's not just Diddy that has these tapes. There are people out there who have taken tapes themselves, right? And are offering them to the people who were recorded for money. Them a blackmail them. You understand? You just have to know the word for yourself. Them me not tell you, some of them pastor, yeah, them better stay far from me. Me no want nothing to do with them because none of them can convince me a backside. They're going to definitely come up against an opponent if them step into my classroom because me don't trust them. Yes, you saw that video. Sick. Yes, the pastor a choke badness. I never see these stuff. Thanks, said teacher K. Big up yourself. Yes, man. And the things that are happening in our world. But look at that little boy that he has gone and corrupted, right? 5 years is a slap on the wrist. Yes, it is. And no doubt because it's a 16-year-old. And I'm not certain if within that jurisdiction, 16 is the age of consent. Perhaps it is said that, maybe the young man was there consensually. I don't know. I don't know what the laws are. But he is more or less underage and he's in a position of privilege and power. So he is using his office wrongfully. So no doubt he's going to get something for exploiting the young, right? But he's going to be right at home in jail. Well, you don't know if he's a top or a bottom, the easy jerk. So it may very well work out to be horribly for him if he's gone in the way that he doesn't like to go. You hear what I say, right? Back in the day, we worry about our girls. Now it's both boys and girls. Yes, you have to be worried about both. True head teacher K, but it's worse when we do it to each other. It shows why they did it to us. Yes. Yes. We have gone through, let me tell you something. You see, black men, during the days of slavery, black men were used on things called stud farms. I don't know if you're aware of that history of ours, where black men were used to actually reproduce and create further slaves. So remember, originally, when slaves came across from Africa, they were there as a family unit. And the slave owners were finding it very difficult to control our ancestors because they were able to communicate with each other. They were able to come up with systems of revolution, fight against their slave owners, run away, make plans, all of that. So when the slave owners went back to Europe to say, listen, this is getting out of hand. We're losing money because our slaves keep running off. What did they advise them and say? Okay, fine. You are doing it wrong because you have got actual people who come from the same place all together on one plantation. You've got to separate the husband from the wife, the mother from the child, take the baby off the breast, send them to different parts of the islands so that they're not on the same plantation. Separate them all together. And once you do that, you're going to end up with a fragmented people who are incapable of knowing their history, don't know how to communicate amongst each other, and therefore they can be easily controlled. They can be led to distrust each other. Remember, I taught my graduates about the Willie Lynch speech. The fact that William Lynch told people exactly how to divide and conquer, right? You're going to put the dark skin against the light skin, the big against the little, the strong against the weak, the old against the young, the men against the women, the light skin against the dark skin. And for centuries to come, they will never trust each other again. We are still suffering from that. It's in our blood, those of us who have come from slavery. That trauma lives inside of us. And as such, we have to struggle and fight to break those generational curses in order for us to hold tight the correct family structure that will make us more powerful. Right? It's very difficult. More so for us. Hence the cornrows and our dialect, all forms of fighting in plain sight. Talk na man Juju, blessed love, big up yourself, bro, Shaka. Yes, we say, hey, in an African accent, indeed. We know when you get in a role, it's fire. As true, I say it go, you understand, especially when I'm feeling a subject, right? But as I said, graduates, I'm going to keep updating you. I'm going to let you know whatever comes next. And we'll have these kind of healthy discussions because we really do need to reflect on ourselves as a people. I see so many examples of what enslavement has done to us as a people, where we literally continue to distrust for no flipping reason at all, other than suspicion, bad mind, envy, grudge. All of those things are a part of being an enslaved people. All of it. When you hear people come out on social media and start cuss people and I talk about, oh, look how that one they look how them big and fat, slaves, slave mentality. That is what that is. When you hear them come and talk about look how that one they black. You understand? Slave mentality. Slave mentality. Things that we are still suffering from through colonization. And because some of us are so ignorant and unaware of our history, we celebrate that mess and think that we are doing something sensible, and don't realize that we are pure evidence of a fragmented ancestry. Yes, people who are divided and conquered mentally and physically, separated from the greatness of our past. And we continue to do it to each other every day and think we're doing something good. Yeah. It's sad. Absolutely sad. I and I will never be conquered mentally and spiritually. Talk no man, bro, shaka, and neither shall I. And neither shall I. You know, sometimes I wonder to myself, what is it that's wrong with us as a people? Why it is that some people are hell-bent on creating division? And I have to always remind myself that the trauma is in the blood. Yeah, the trauma is in the blood. That we still have a far way to go, where we are no longer crabs in a barrel. You hear what I say? Now, often our behaviors create mistrust, yes. And we have to take accountability for such. We can't blame everything on the white man. When you're aware of it and then you see, you still continue to do the things that you're aware came from that mindset, you have to start to take accountability and say, listen, I'm aware of the fact that this mindset is not good. That mindset is parasitic. That mindset is self-loathing. And I have to stop it. Right? But some people are not even aware of that. And that's why they behave the way they behave. You hear what I'm saying to you? Judas syndrome, talk no man. Judas syndrome, lack of self-awareness, self-hatred. Self-hatred. You see, anytime you speaking to somebody, you hear them utter out of their mouth and talk about somebody, look how them black and crusty. That is a sick individual mentally. Sick. Yes? That person is broken in the head. Anytime you hear that come out of a black person mouth, just look at them and say, watch the slave. Still on the plantation, still a kiss backside. Yeah. The worst type. Them, they are the Uncle Toms, the coons of our community. Yeah. You hear what me say, Tono? I can never understand it. Likewise, when you hear somebody who's from a poor background, I call somebody else, I tell them, say they come from gully. No, tell me if that makes sense. When you look on some of them background and them origins is also from poverty. Self-loathing. Self-loathing. Not being proud of where you generated from and how you have overcome that and can't be proud for somebody else who has done so. Very sad indeed. So all of these things are what creates that kind of mentality where we begin to live for ourselves and not for each other. You hear what I'm saying to you? Everything is about take. And this take mentality, it first starts off as I'm going to take back what was taken away from me. I'm going to take back financially what I lost, what my ancestors lost, what my people didn't have. I remember when I used to struggle when I never have bread, and now I have lots of bread. I'm going to take it all. Fine. But then the take back turns into greed. It turns into greed. Because instead of taking enough, we start to take too much. And you see, when you don't recognize that point where it becomes greed, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Just as Jaguar Right says, we need to create less Diddies, less P-Diddies. We also need to make sure that our children coming up in an industry or an environment that is all about the physical and the superficial, that they have some depth to them, that they realize that they're worth more than a penny and a dollar. That it's best to work hard and work honestly for what they attain in life. Because this is too tempting. It's too tempting. And they will always turn around and regret it. It can never lead to a life of happiness. It will always lead to torment, spiritual torment, torment of the conscience. And unfortunately, in many cases, it leads to physical, fatal choices where you end up with diseases that you can never recover from. It's so important that we set examples. That's right, the easy. That we don't fall into this trap of thinking money from any angle must be bangled. We have to teach our children to say no thank you, no thanks, and to walk away. Because some dignity can never be replaced. Never ever be replaced. Anyway, big up on a nice clean self graduates. Make sure you like up the live on your way out. Man, I love it when our classroom nice and comfortable like this. The pan 90 other on the pub live. I want to sit down and stay there for the whole time. Big up on a nice clean self. Like up the live, share the live. I hope you have found this informative, educational, that you've taken away some messages from this that you can apply in a real life. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out. Bye-bye.